watering hole. So, all right, you got us kicked off? Okay. My name is Mark McInerney. I'm the Vice President of your Sugar Creek HOA. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge also some of the other board members. Would you just stand up as I call you? Carrie Prince. Carrie's in the house. Carrie is our treasurer. We've got Kirk Bradley. Where's Kirk? Thank you, Kirk. Lana. There's Lana Goldberg. Barbara, right next to her as well. Thank you, Barbara. Gary, still part of the team. And Nasir, I saw him also. How's it going, Nasir? And Yvette. And of course, also, where's our city councilman? I saw also Stuart Jacobson there at the back. So if you got any problems with the city, go ahead and hit up. He's here for a long time. We'll lock the doors. I won't get into a whole lot of, I'd say just some of the minutia that is what we do. Carrie will come up here and go over some of the numbers. I will just say, if you guys have questions, feel free to certainly reach out to myself. Of course, Robin does an amazing job as well. And I know that you're probably most interested in speaking to the gentleman back there, Greg, who's going to be talking about some of the projects and their completion. So I want to leave all... Greg isn't here, sorry. So actually that segment has now just been cut out, so this is going to go really fast. But I want to leave more time for you guys to ask all those types of questions, since that's probably a little bit more of your concern at the moment. So without further ado, Carrie, you want to tell us how our numbers are looking, please?
Good evening, everybody. Okay, so I want to just start by letting you know that we are in good standing with our budget. The board approves the budget each year and we vote on it, and we are under budget actually, so we have some extra funds right now that we're able to utilize if we need them. So that's a wonderful position to be in, especially with some recent flooding and different events in severe weather that possibly could come up. We have those funds aside in case we ever need it. So that's definitely a good place to be. We recently finished an audit. There was an audit done on our budget, and the results came back to us indicating that we are in good standing with our budget. We're doing everything we're supposed to in managing monies and finances appropriately and according to the board and what we voted on. So that's an excellent thing. I also wanted to bring up that we have some special projects that you might hear about or that you might see happening soon. One of them is going to be extending the median walk area. It's been really successful getting the community out walking on Country Club. And we're going to extend it even further where it comes down Country Club closer to where the tennis courts are. So that was such a successful project, and we want to continue that because we have so many community members that like walking and counting their steps and taking their dogs out. So we're going to keep working on that, and then we do go towards the 4B with that program, so we get funding back to us, so we're not paying for all of that. So overall, we're in excellent standing and are managing our budget very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay, next on the agenda, is this your cookie? No?
They only have cheesecake next door. Sorry, I'm on my way to a banquet right next door.
Thanks, Carrie.
Graduating seniors.
Jake, I was chatting with Jake. He's going to come up here and talk to us about Lend a Hand. This sounds very interesting, so I'm interested to hear about it as well personally. So, thanks, Jake.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. I know for a sports guy like me too, I know March Madness is going on. I see some A&M fans back there, so. See UT back there too. So, yeah, I'm just here to talk about Lend a Hand. It is our first ever community day of service that the city is putting on. It's going to be held next month on Saturday, April 12th. We're kicking off at 7 a.m. I know it's pretty early, but we wanted to beat the heat. The goal of this event really is to just help out our community in Sugar Land with volunteerism. And so I actually lead our volunteer program for the city of Sugar Land. And so what we're trying to do is get people to help volunteer. We're with our neighborhood services and with our code enforcement. They've identified some houses and some properties that are in need of assistance. Either there's some issues that they cannot help with themselves due to age, disability, or other factors, and so they're just needing some help with that. What I'm here tonight to ask is really for any help, volunteer, support, donations, sponsorship. We're really open to anything like that. I actually left some flyers in the back, but we are looking for any assistance. It goes towards tools and equipment that volunteers will be using. The activities can be as simple as helping get some fallen debris that's in someone's backyard or front yard and just getting it to the curb for green waste. It can be power washing, it can be help painting inside the house, some fences that have fallen over. Hurricane Beryl hit several months ago, but there's still some properties that are still affected by that. And so there are just some things that we are trying to get people out there to help with. I know we'll have a lot of high school students that are out there. It's on a Saturday early on, but like I said, any assistance would be greatly appreciated. And I'm here to field any questions about Linda Ham.
It's April the 12th?
April 12th, yes sir. 7 a.m. to about 2 p.m. We'll be at the Smart Financial. That's where the kickoff will be. We'll have a little bit of a ceremony that's going on. We'll try to have some spirit groups out there, maybe some food and some coffee. You know, you're up there early, so, you know, we're trying to hype you up in the morning, so. Any other questions I can?
Is there a website that you have that lists properties that need assistance or not?
Not currently. There's not one that lists the properties. I know that we'll have those there on the day of. Like I said, this is our first one ever, so we're seeing how that goes. Like I said, we're pairing with our code enforcement. We're hoping that this grows annually each year to help more properties out in the future. So we're sticking with what code enforcement has for this year, but we're hoping in the future we're able to help a lot more. Any other questions? Yeah.
I don't have a question, but I do know that the fire department and the police department do have programs where people can go and see what they do, and I don't know that that's published or advertised very much. I know people have volunteered with both of them, or at least gone to see what it is that they do, and they're pretty wonderful about that, so I thought I'd mention it as something else.
Yeah, definitely. No, our Citizens Police Academy and our Citizens Fire Academy, they actually just finished up. Our Fire Academy just finished up. I believe our Police Academy is just finishing up. And yeah, those are definitely great programs that I would also recommend when they come around. I would say to go into our volunteer website. We usually publicize that when they go live. I know the Fire Academy won't probably have another class until next year, and then same with our Police Academy, but we'll try to make that more public so it's more aware to our systems. Any other questions I can help field? Okay, well, I don't want to take your job as the MC to introduce the next speaker, but.
Thanks a lot, Jake. And also for, yes, big round of applause. We live in a great city, so whoever was making mention about the Police Academy and the Fire Academy, there's also like a Citizens City University, which is really, really good if you haven't done it, because you can go through and, well, get ideas of like what Jake's department does, as well as what the city controller is doing, and the mayor and city councilman, and it gets really granular, even all the way down to a lot of the things that our city is offering. So look into that as well. Okay, Sugar Land Strategic Plan, Shayla Lee. Did she come in? I'll let you get it from here.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
I just did a clicker.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so my name is Shayla Lee. I'm the Director of Strategic and Government Affairs for the City of Sugar Land. So one of my primary focuses in our department is the implementation and planning of our city's strategic plan. So tonight we wanted to kind of go through that with you guys so you can kind of see the different things that we're working on as a city. So So one of the first elements and kind of the foundation of the strategic plan is the City of Sugar Land's vision. And so for those of you who don't know, the City of Sugar Land's vision is we are trailblazers, relentless in our pursuit of good, so that our employees, residents, and businesses can enjoy a life better than they can even imagine. And so that vision is very important to us because that is the foundation of every single thing that we do, every project. We are trying to make sure Sugar Land is the trailblazing city in the region, in the state, in the country. We want to make sure that we are always forward thinking. And so that's where our vision statement is grounded in. So other elements, I'll kind of get into the bulk. I'm gonna brush over kind of the vision and the strategic outcome areas because those are kind of just foundational pieces, but I wanna spend most of my time talking about the actual focus areas that led to different projects that we're working on. But another foundational piece are what we call strategic outcome areas. And so those are outcome areas that were set by our city council a couple of years ago. And we like to call those these high-level goalposts. If we achieved everything in the world, if everything was perfect, we would achieve these outcomes. And so they are intentionally broad, which is why you'll see our strategic plan gets a little bit more in-depth and focus those priorities a little bit more. But just to kind of give an overview of them, there are 8. They're not in any particular order of importance, but they do focus on our finances and making sure that we're strong, we're fiscally responsible, our community, priding ourselves in being one of the safest cities in the nation, economy, making sure we're thriving, culture, not only are we creating spaces where we celebrate different cultures, but also making sure people that come to those spaces feel engaged and welcome once they get there. And then additionally, having government, meaning that we're leveraging our partnerships, we're working with the county, we're working with school district, and just making sure that we are an influential government wherever we can be. And then the final 2, transportation, making sure that we're convenient and connected, and infrastructure, knowing that we're not just building infrastructure for today, but tomorrow. So making sure we're resilient in that respect. Is that me? Oh. Okay, thank you. All right, so just to kind of set a foundation before we kind of get into the other focus areas, we do like to kind of just throw our common definition so that everyone in the room understands what we mean when we say a strategic plan. So for the city, it's about a roadmap and aligning our resources and making sure that we have a clear idea of our path, how we're gonna prioritize projects, how we're gonna allocate resources, and just making sure that we have metrics that also kind of align with this roadmap of the future. And so I did want to kind of give you guys an overview of how we got to this point, and so how we started making up the different focus areas that we're going to talk about. And so just to give you kind of a high level different things that we've done over the last year to get to this point. So back in last May is where we put out a bidding process where we were able to get different consultants to help us build the strategic plan and walk us through the different elements of it. And so with that, we selected a consultant last May, and then July is where we kicked off our different engagement efforts. And you'll see there's a highlight of the different areas that we went to. So we've had different focus groups where that's been community members, that's been staff, that's been businesses, that's been Fort Bend ISD students, it's been University of Houston Sugar Land as well. We've had small business networking events, and then we've tried to keep those same groups involved, but we obviously want more people involved in the process, so I'll show you guys at the end of how we're trying to engage with more people as we continue to evolve. And then ultimately, all that led to the strategic plan that was finalized and adopted by council last month. So the bulk, that's a little blurry, so it's fine. We'll get into kind of what each one of those say. The bulk of the plan focuses on these 5 focus areas. And so I'll go over each one of them and the objectives as we're building projects as a city that we're making sure that we focus around. So the first kind of major strategic focus area for us is about enhancing the suburban community. We recognize that people move to Sugar Land because it's a safe community, it's family oriented, and us trying to figure out how are we finding more opportunities to celebrate the different cultures that we have, the destinations, expand those opportunities, and also making sure we're partnering with schools, making sure we're still having safety as our #1 priority. How are we enhancing our sidewalks to make sure our children have safe spaces to walk? And so that's kind of the focus area when it comes to enhancing suburban community. The second one being boosting community reputation. We want to continue to be a place where people hear our name and they understand that we're innovative. This is a place where people want to live and work. And so we focus on different objectives, whether that be our visibility, when people Google our name, what comes up, what are new ventures that we're working on, and just making sure we're telling the story of our community. We're telling the story of the men and women that make this community so great, our businesses, and just finding more ways to make ourselves visible in the community and beyond. The next one, encouraging community engagement. So finding opportunities, we recognize that we don't just want traditional town halls. We don't just want people, the traditional ways of coming to city council meetings, but how are other opportunities where we can get out in the community, we can meet people where there are, and we can talk about the issues that are important to our community. And so that's what this initiative is focused on, building those relationships and creating those opportunities. The fourth one is not new to anyone because that one has been a priority for quite some time, but we want to continue to draw attention to, we are in the stage of our community where we're focused on redevelopment, especially of our key areas, and then focusing on creating an environment that's supportive of the redevelopment on both commercial and residential side. Also focusing on a forward-looking housing strategy, building those partnerships, preparing key sites such as Imperial and Lake Point, and then also in general communicating why it's so valuable that we continue to evolve and redevelop areas that may be underutilized as a city. And then the fifth focus area is stimulating economic growth. And so how are we creating this avenue where we have different startups and different businesses that continue to grow, and what resources are we providing to those businesses as well to ensure that we can create jobs, we can have this innovative ecosystem, and us also having relationships that maintain and build upon that as well. And so this is kind of just everybody, you know, we try to tell our different groups, how are we focusing on these, who's in charge of these. And so we have what we call Chief Trailblazers, which are different directors that are assigned to each focus area, and their job is to build cross-departmental teams across the organization. Their job is to work with our partners in the community and to prioritize different projects that are falling in these different focus areas. And so ultimately they're responsible for tracking progress, metrics, and giving regular updates on the projects that are falling under each of these focus areas. And so with that, in a nutshell, I stuck to my time limit, I think. So in a nutshell, that is our strategic plan. But if you guys wanted to kind of get more in depth to be able to see the whole plan, to be able to sign up for updates whenever we have new projects, new community meetings, and different ways for you to engage, the QR code takes you to our newsletter list. But also we have, if you go to sugarlandtx.gov/trailblazingSOTX, it gives you the whole plan, history of it, and other things that we're working on as well. And with that, I will open it up for questions. I also have flyers on the table that has the QR codes as well as my business cards. So if you don't think of a question now, you can always still contact me later. Yes, sir.
With the city buying, purchasing the proposed car house, are there any plans, preliminary plans that have been drawn up?
So we're working on acquiring that, but any updates of what the next steps are, they haven't developed the next steps, but when it is, it will be posted on Imperial Historic site website. There's also some business cards over there as well that you can track the progression of that. Yes.
This is all kind of under the guidance of the consultant firm that you guys acquired, right? You know, to kind of map out a bit of a strategic plan.
So I will say, yes, so my job was to provide the consultant with what the vision was and our pillars of being people-oriented, community-focused. So it was my job to drive the consultant, but ultimately they helped us kind of with the structure of setup, yes.
Are they devising a plan for a period of time, or they've kind of done what they were brought in to do, and now it's the city?
Yes, so they've done so their job was to help with the planning process. It's my responsibility for the implementation and the rest of it for the next 3 years. Mhm. Yes.
I have a comment. I want to congratulate Robin because she did get a questionnaire through the whole homeowners association about what the city wanted and wanted input from the people who live in Sugar Creek. I shared that questionnaire with a number of people in other subdivisions, and they had never even heard of it. And I just wondered if there was a plan from the city to get that out to everybody, not just you.
Absolutely. So I think you're referring to, there was just for everyone, there was a survey that was launched to gather feedback as well throughout the process, and that received about a little over 1,000 responses. But to your point, yes, there are still coming to meetings like this, trying to find more opportunities where we're engaging the community is absolutely a part of our implementation plan, because we don't want this to be something that we just built in a silo and we don't continue to update it and we don't continue to work with the community on it as well. Absolutely. That's how I handle it. And also to your point about the survey, we also have some business cards on the table called Sugarland Speaks that also goes to a URL that has any survey that the city has, so any opportunity to give input as well. Those are also on the table. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. Again, my business cards are on the table over there.
Thank you, Shayla. Great Homes and Programs, John Soriano. I like the cap, yeah, I love the, are you when we're ready?
Not this year, I haven't made it, so,
Oh,
yeah.
it's all the more reason.
Sure. Howdy, everyone. My name's John Soriano. I work for the City of Sugar Land with the Department of Redevelopment. Really excited about this presentation today to talk to you about the Great Homes Program. It's an incentive that's available for every single homeowner in the city for you to improve the outside of your home. Before I start on that, I wanted to introduce myself. I work for the Department of Redevelopment, and we're actually focused on all things redevelopment, right? I'm talking commercial incentives, residential home incentives, Lake Point, Imperial, we're spearheading that project. But one of the reasons I really love this community in Sugar Creek is I run this capital improvement program where essentially we partner with HOAs to complete quality of life improvements throughout the community. And when I first started managing this program back in 2022, we partnered with y'all to complete the entryway landscaping. You might know that esplanade that's right in front of your community, right next to the highway. Looks beautiful. Y'all been doing a really great job keeping up with it too, which we don't see that often. And I remember I got coffee with Robin Hale a few years ago, and I'm like, you know, we're gonna repurpose this capital improvement program because we wanna see even better projects from our HOAs. And I would love to see something really great from you. And what came out of that is this Esplanade walkway kind of project that you see down Country Club Boulevard. And our board for the Sugar Land 4B Corporation loves this project. We love how it enhances the walkability of this neighborhood. And this is just a prime example of, one, how your sales tax dollars are being used by the city to promote quality of life, but two, like how important it is for our communities to reinvest and put money back into the community so we stay relevant, right? Redevelopment has been one of the top priorities as defined by our city council for the last few years, right? Every city has a life cycle. Sugar Land started as a company town, you know, around Imperial in the late 19th century, and we experienced rapid growth. Right here it says with new master plan communities and the new highways, and you know, the master plan community that really started it all in the 70s was this one. You know, it's amazing if you look at all the old photos, and I'm sure a lot of you lived here during that period of massive growth, right? And that brings us to today. You know, we've really peaked, and I'll show some data after this slide to kind of suggest why we've kind of peaked. And the city really has a life cycle, and every city really has a decision on whether or not it can continue to grow or if it declines, right? And we are reaching that that time in our life cycle that suggests that we're kind of at that peak. For one, 4% of our land is undeveloped, right? We don't have a lot of land left to develop new, much of anything, right? Our department really focuses on the city's top priorities, which is the Imperial side and Lake Point. You know, those are two really big frontiers for the city. Imperial's our namesake, right? We need to take care of that as a city. And Lake Point, you know, with floor vacating, that's a lot of land that could be developed into something that's really great for the city, right? But other than that, we're really also focused on how do we help our property owners, both residential and commercial, reinvest, because there's not a lot of land to build new things. Other things to suggest that we're really at that peak is, you know, we've started to experience a population decline, right? Ever since 2020, our population has been slowly declining. That's really scary when it comes to, when you think about future growth, you know, your tax dollars, and the reason that Sugar Land can keep its property taxes is so low is because we've had such great growth over the years and such great sales tax dollars as well from people visiting our community. But to be able to sustain this, you know, we do need to continue to fund all the services and infrastructure that you continue to enjoy, which is why growth is important. You know, our median age has been slowly creeping up too. Not that this is always a bad thing, but there are trade-offs, right? We really do want young families to continue to move into the community to provide that diversity for the city. And the impacts of an aging population, you know, in the data, we see households with their own children go down 10% in the last decade. I feel like one of those minority of people that I just had a kid this year, and it's awesome, but like I noticed that in my neighborhood, there's not a lot of folks like me and my wife who have young kids. Household size has also decreased. That's kind of a national trend. Our elementary school utilization numbers have gone down. Same for youth league participation by our residents, and an increase in the response calls and senior center usage, and that affects spending, right? Because every demographic has a spending pattern. And so these are just things we're thinking about, right? Finally, to conclude, before I go into the program, you know, we have aging property. Our median shopping center age here in the city is 23 years, and according to CoStar, only 62% of our retail space was built before the year 2000. And only 12 properties out of the 442 retail properties in the whole city has seen a major renovation since it's been built. And so we're really trying to incentivize these property owners to reinvest. And same for homeowners, right? Every homeowner is important. The median home age here in the city is 28 years, and over 70% of our homes were built before 2000. So City Council, about 3 years ago, actually, since they prioritized redevelopment and wanted to prioritize residential reinvestment in the city, they approved the Great Homes program about 3 years ago. The Great Homes is a residential reinvestment initiative created to empower you as Sugar Land homeowners to invest into your community. And whenever you reinvest into your home, it affects your neighbor, it affects your home values, it affects your whole community. So we're really trying to create a movement here. We're celebrating 2 years of this program being completed. We concluded year 2 in December, and in these last 2 years, over 264 exterior home projects were completed, totaling over 4.18 million in exterior improvements that were actually completed. And all the photos of homes that you see in this PowerPoint are like actually completed projects. I mean, these are some of my favorite. I mean, they're really extreme. And this year we've already approved over $1 million worth of home improvement projects. And this program is available to every single homeowner. It doesn't matter how old your home is or how much it's worth. This is available to you as a taxpayer here in the city. Completed projects to date, you can see all the projects that have been completed throughout town, right? We've had about 15 here in the Sugar Creek neighborhood. I would love to see some more. We just approved almost a 100K project for someone here in this neighborhood to repaint their entire home, change their rotting siding, and it's awesome. You know, that's a great, and it's great that they're taking advantage of the incentive. Now there's 2 programs under Great Homes, and this is all on the website. There's a business card back there where you can get the information, and my card's over there too if you have any questions. But first we have the design program. The Great Homes design program, you apply online and you can get a affordable exterior home design from a professional home design agency at a greatly reduced cost. And so this agency right here, Breck & Batten, they provide this home design, and it comes with a clickable list of paint colors and exterior improvements that you can buy online. And why get one in the first place? Well, one, you can get a home design for as cheap as $15 through this program. So even if you're just thinking about it, you can apply and see your home in a different colorway. But 2, if you're going to be putting a significant amount of money into reinvesting into your home, you should get a home design to help inform your decisions about what paint you should do, what exterior improvements you can do. And I'll show some examples of some people that used it. This one's in Greatwood, right? You can see the before picture up there. We had a homeowner apply for a home design. They got that deliverable right there, and man, they just added so much. They added all these exterior improvements, black trim. It looks great, you know, and it's really elevated their property. Excuse me. And did I say you can get a home design for as cheap as $15? Now there's 2 home design firms that you can choose from. Choose from. There's a cheaper one, you can get one for $15, and then there's the nicer one, which costs $200. But I will say that Breck & Batten, the one that provides the more expensive service, their home design service is normally $1,000. And so you're saving a significant amount by using the Sugar Land's program, because we secured this awesome deal for y'all. So hope y'all take advantage of it. Now for the bigger program here, the Update program. The Great Homes Update program is the reimbursement incentive program that's available to every single homeowner in the city to complete any exterior improvements on your home. And I'll go through the list here in a second. So you can get a reimbursement grant if you're approved with the project, so you have to have a new project, for up to 25% of the cost of an approved project. Now, if you're in the upper half of homes in the city, which I acknowledge that, you know, Sugar Creek has a lot of the upper half of homes in the city, you're gonna get 10% back. If you're on the bottom half of homes, based on those criteria right there, you're gonna get 25% back. And I will say that, like, the folks that use this grant in Sugar Creek, like for example, that $95,000 project that we just approved today, they're getting almost $10,000 back, 10% back. So 10% is not nothing. I wouldn't discount that. Here's how the process works. You're gonna apply online with a quote. You're gonna go to your contractor, get a quote, give us what you're gonna be doing for your home improvement projects. Give us that quote. We're gonna approve that project, give you an agreement to sign that says, hey, you're gonna complete this work, and after you complete this work, you're gonna submit proof that you paid for it, some pictures, that sort of thing. And then once you complete that project and send us all that paperwork, we're gonna review it and then pay you the 10 or 25%. So it's actually not that complicated. The application's a little long, but it's totally worth your time in my opinion. And one of my favorite examples of one of the first projects that we got was this homeowner in North Sugar Land who didn't even have a driveway, who installed the driveway using the program. The types of projects that are eligible, pretty much anything on the outside. So painting, siding, garage door, front door, driveway, fence, roof, window, gutter, landscaping. We have a few special rules, like you can't do standalone landscaping, you can't do standalone roof, and we incentivize windows a little less. And all those details are available online, but generally speaking, I mean, it's a pretty large incentive. And now for the fun part of the presentation, before I close, just some highlights. The slides with the navy blue on top are actually houses in Sugar Creek. So this homeowner got a design to kind of change the color of their siding and also add new landscaping, and he actually did it. You know, that he removed the front gate onto the front of his home, painted his siding a much less boring color, and added all this new landscaping. So it looks great. This homeowner stated in her application that she was, she had her mom was living with her, and the front path was like a tripping hazard for her, and so she replaced the front path, which has been really great for accessibility. This home totally changed the colorway, right? Pink brick, and painted the garage and the brick to this cool modern black and white look. So I was happy to see that. And then just some more kind of highlights you see here. I'll go through these pretty quickly. I mean, yeah, this homeowner had some really bad siding. That was in really bad shape. This one's in First Colony, nude colorway. This one was in my neighborhood, had like a rotting siding as well. I mean, you can see based on these examples that Sugar Land has a lot of older housing, and we really want to incentivize as a city folks to keep up with their homes, right? This one was a really extreme example. They've added a lot of new modern things to their home. This homeowner was elderly and wrote a kind of testimonial for us. She's a widow of being almost 87 years old, and this program made it possible to replace her driveway in the first place. So really cool story there, and you can apply online. All the information's online. I have cards over there. So if you want to send me an email, I usually respond within a few hours. And online, there's a new applicant guide that has all the most frequently asked questions, how to apply. It's got everything. So check out this new applicant guide. And yeah, just questions. I wanted to kind of ask y'all some questions. What are your initial thoughts? What questions do you have for me? Happy to answer those now. So. No questions? Good. Okay.
I'd like to just kind of say, there's obviously a lot of great programs that the city offers, and oftentimes there's a lot of great opportunities that are just missed because plain and simply nobody chooses to take advantage of them. So, they do a really great job coming out here to explain a lot of the options that they're willing to pour back into the city. And I have to give Robin kudos on this too. The whole 4B plan, I mean, a lot of the beautification, though that's kind of slow in coming, that's being taken place here in the neighborhood, such as the walkway paths, which is a great alternative to not being able to have sidewalks, which we just can't get. That's all Robin, that Robin is paying very close attention to the options that the city offers under this particular program to, make our neighborhood look nice. So anyway, thank you, Robin, and thank you also again, man, and again, congratulations. Welcome to the Dad Club. Okay, well, Greg left earlier, so we'll get right on to, oh, there he is, no, he came back, okay. Greg, I'll just let you.
Yeah, I know.
You got your vest on.
You don't need great homes, I'll come tear your yard up for free.
Put on your bulletproof vest.
Yeah, I know it, I got a target somewhere around here. Just a quick update on the Sugar Creek Drainage Country Club Montclair Drainage Project. Everything's going as smooth as possible. We have had some extensive delays with other utilities that had not gotten relocated when they were supposed to, but we're dealing with that. CenterPoint Energy Gas. We've had several locations where they are in our way and we're having to wait for them to get out of the way before we can continue with some of the work. We have been working in other areas in the meantime, but we're not able to complete everything as one flow as we wanted to. We had some right at the beginning, we did have some logistical problems getting material, so we had a little bit of delay right off the front. But that's all caught up with us, and we're getting our material regularly now. We're currently in the intersection, if y'all haven't noticed, Montclair and Country Club. Trying to get out of that intersection as fast as we can. We were actively going back to the west toward Southwestern Boulevard to finish that leg of drainage there. And once we get that done, we'll be moving back toward the east on to Power Court on the westbound lanes. Overall, weather permitting, no more hiccups on conflicts and whatnot. I'm expecting somewhere around a 4 to 6 month completion time. Once we get going on Country Club, we will be working most likely on both ends of Country Club from the city limit line, as well as at Montclair going east, to help speed this up. There will be no drainage on the main lane going eastbound. All the drainage is going to be on the westbound lanes, which is the north lane of Country Club, but there is some laterals that go across Country Club to the inlets on the opposite side, which will be a minimal disturbance in the roadway there until the pavement actually started getting replaced. And that's mainly what's going to go on that side, is the pavement replacement, as well as some a little bit of driveway replacement with that pavement. Again, you will be inconvenienced when we're doing the roadway in front of your house. We're definitely be out of your driveway. Typically we try to keep it at 2 weeks with everything that's going on. About a week later, you can get back in front of your house. Week after that, hopefully you can get back in your driveway. So, but again, we're trying to get through here as fast as we can. And we did have some extensions as well. We did some more utility work that we found out needed to be done. There was a section of water main between Montclair and Southwestern Boulevard that was the last little segment that hadn't got done in our previous water main rehab projects. So instead of coming back in and literally tearing up them yards again in another year or two, we decided to go ahead and do it now, get it out of the way, so we don't have to come back. In that process, we found out that our sewer line was in desperate need of repair in that same location, so we actually added that to the project as well. So we had about roughly 90 days worth of extra work that we had to add to the project, but it'll be paying in dividends when we don't have to come back, especially in Mr. Lithrop's yard over there, because he's been getting tore up. He's my Sugar Creek saint, let me tell you. So, but any questions? I didn't think so. Yes, sir.
When are you gonna complete the work from Montclair to Sugar Creek Boulevard?
Well, from Montclair to Southwestern is being done now. I expect that's probably going to be about a 60-day period. The work from Montclair, or not Montclair, but Southwestern back to Sugar Creek Boulevard is pretty much done. All we have left there is the striping, and that will come in once we get the majority of the stuff back down Sugar Creek or Country Club done, so we can bring the stripers in and do pretty much all of it at one time.
But concerning striping, visitors to our neighborhood don't realize that there's 2 lanes, and one of them is dedicated to bicycles and walking.
Yes, yes. And I've actually had some calls from some residents questioning the parking spots that were there, not wanting them back. I'm working with our traffic engineer to figure out when that came into play, because that one segment of Country Club was the only segment in Sugar Creek that actually had that. And the bike lanes will definitely go back in for sure, but we're trying to figure out whether the striped off parking spots in front will go back in as well or not. It may just be a wider bike lane and a shared path, bike lane, traffic lane, but our traffic engineer will be working on that to see what we're gonna do with that.
I must compliment you, your flaggers are doing they're doing a very, very good job, because that's a hell of a job.
You wasn't out there today, were you?
No, I thought to pull out pistol and give them a little.
Yeah, so, but, no, we're definitely trying to keep everything, flowing, so, you know.
But why aren't you working 24/7?
Yeah. That would be nice, yes, sir.
Is there a timetable when the westbound lanes will be shut down, so that the eastbound lanes will be two-way?
Yes, yeah, there will be and we'll probably do that in depending on our, if we work on multiple ends at the same time, then we'll be making it two-way on the eastbound lane, for the duration of our westbound lane, project. Now, obviously, we'll let the local residents have access to get in there, but the main traffic bypass traffic will be going down the eastbound lane initially. Then we'll take and do a flop. Once we get that done, everything will get flopped over to the eastbound side, and it'll be two-way traffic on the westbound lanes. But yeah, I expect once we get through to Southwestern Boulevard, roughly 60 days, weather permitting, and then we'll start going back down toward Power Court, east to the city limit line, and at that point, we'll probably be jumping ahead and working from both ends, because we have less drainage that has to go in on the east end, and they can start doing paving there and not be impacted by having to wait behind the drainage crews. So we'll be able to get some of that paving knocked out ahead of time. So, yes, ma'am.
This is sort of minor compared to what's going on Country Club, but do you know when the sprinkler systems are gonna be replaced on Montclair?
On Montclair.
Uh-huh.
Actually, they already have been. As far as, they haven't been hooked up completely, but the irrigation heads have been put back in. They're doing the restoration stuff now as far as getting ready for the grass and grading and all that. But when I was over there day before yesterday looking at some of that, I seen the heads had already been installed in the median.
Oh, in the medium, but like in my house.
Okay.
Okay, I was out there with them 3 weeks ago, and they put flags out, but nothing has been done.
And you're on Montclair?
On the corner of Montclair and Wellington.
Wellington, okay.
Right.
No, they're working on that, yes.
Because I noticed the grass.
And they should be finishing, we should be finishing up all the restoration of Charleston, Wellington, and that section of Montclair, within the next 30 days. So we should have grass back.
It was placed today, which kind of confused me, because now when they start repairing my sprinkler systems, they're gonna have to tear up the grass.
No, yeah, I'll check with them, because they shouldn't have put the grass back over there until the irrigation had been repaired and restored. But I'll get with them tomorrow on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you. I know, you gotta be good buddies.
Absolutely.
But as we talk about, for me, the devil could be in the details when we start rebuilding this stuff. Obviously, my first concern is my own yard.
Sure.
But the whole stretch between Country Club going down Montclair into where Charleston, all those walls are devastated.
Oh, yeah.
All
No,
that
yeah.
area, and I know HOA had some things that they maybe were planning. What is the process of bringing all of that together?
We're gonna be working with Robin. Obviously, I don't know what the HOA Robin's plan is for those walls, but at bare minimum, our contractor is going to be, assisting in the repair or replacement, whatever, however we can work it out. If they're gonna get completely replaced with a new wall or whatever that the HOA wants, then our contractor will be contributing monies that, from the damages that was done by them in the construction phase, to go toward that.
So on my driveway, they didn't want to do a shared expense thing, but they'll work that out with the HOA on that basis, where some of the scope will fall under HOA and some of it might fall under the contractor.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. Yes, sir.
On the parking spaces, I know a lot of people use that parking space, walking their dogs. riding
Sure.
bikes.
Now, yeah, now, again, if the parking spaces go away, if the striping don't get put back for that, the bike lane will get expanded some right there, and it will be a shared walk pathway for the bike lane as well as some traffic. But obviously, whenever you have those shared paths,
So who made that decision?
no, it hasn't been made yet.
Someone who live there get some kind of input?
Oh, absolutely. You can call me and let me know what your preference is, and I'll pass that along to our traffic engineer. Absolutely, because I'm going to be working with the traffic engineer before we get to the striping part of it, so we figure out exactly what we want to do. And like I said, I've already taken a few phone calls from people that have voiced their interest in, you know, which way they want to go with it. But again, it's going to be ultimately, you know, whatever the majority want. And because obviously our intention is we were going to put it back like it was, you know, full stop. Obviously, if a lot of the residents don't want those parking spots there for some reason, then we might be able to remove those and just keep the bike lane. The bike lane will be going back in for sure. You know, so, but.
You don't have a whole lot to say about that because that's a city function, is it not?
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, it's not, I don't believe it is a requirement as far as the parking spaces go. And again, we got to go back and find out when it was implemented, why it was implemented, what drove it to be put in.
Okay.
That's what's going to be determining, you know, if it has to go back or not, if there was a specific reason for that.
The bike
Yes, sir.
lanes were-
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
I was just gonna say, the bike lanes were probably a federal grant because it was the feds that always wanted to give money to put in bike lanes in areas where there's never a bike, you know?
That is handicap ramp.
That's a lot of bills.
Yes, sir.
If you don't go back with it, are people not gonna be allowed to park it out there at all?
No, I mean, it's just like two-lane parking. I mean, two-way traffic. I mean, people park in front of their houses anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just can't block the whole road, but you can block the one lane. Yeah, you'll still be able to park there.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, it's just won't be a specific little.
I mean, with workers coming on one of my driveways.
Sure, sure. No, yeah, you can't park on both sides of it. So, any other questions? Y'all are making it easy. All right. Y'all have a good one.
Good job, man. Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, you still didn't answer about 24/7.
Oh, yeah. A lot of the residents may not like that.
He'll call you tonight at 3 a.m. How about
I
that?
get calls when they fire the dump trucks up a little bit early.
And tomorrow at 4. All right, okay, crime prevention. Officer Zach.
Thank you very much. Good evening, thank you for having us here. Some of you may not know me. I think most of you were here last time. My name is Zach Condi. I'm in charge of B3, which is where you guys live. I'm on the crime prevention team. We've had a few changes. I guess everybody knows our chief is no longer our chief. Pete Lara has come in and he's going to be our chief. And old chief, Poland, has gone over to City Hall with all the smart people. So he'll be over there, but you guys are going to love the new guy. He's been a friend of mine for 18 years. He's great. You'll get to meet him. I tried to get him to come tonight. He wasn't able to come tonight. He may make the next one. What other changes have we had? Gentleman in the back there in the uniform, that is Lieutenant Jeffrey Glass. He's just taken over the lieutenant spot for B3, so your neighborhood as well. I think he has a few things to say here just a little bit when I get done talking. Crime, I know that's why I'm here. Since September, we've had about 14 incidents that I think are important to you guys. And most of them are, what you would guess is vehicle burglaries. We've had 12 of those. 5 of them happened in one night. And from what we've looked at, most of them happen when cars are not locked and left in the driveway. Also, people are leaving things in their cars, laptops, things like that, because it's a pain to carry them out in the morning, right? So as I always say, if we can do our best to lock those cars, to remind people to lock those cars, and listen, I walk away from mine sometimes and I forget, and I live downtown, I live in Montrose. So if you forget there's a consequence every single morning. My shoes were missing the other day. I thought I left them in the car. Turns out they're under my desk in the office. So if you can remember, please lock your cars, and please remind everybody to, and if you have children, remind them as well, because you know how they are. I've got one of those too. I went out the other day and his window was down all night long. And I asked him, did you do that on purpose? And he said no. So 12 B&Bs, vehicle burglaries, 5 in one night. All of them had most of them had one thing in common. It's just the doors are being left unlocked. The other things we had, and then all of this is pulled from since September to today. We've had a few thefts, nothing that we looked at those as not really going to affect anybody else. And that's about it. There's really not a lot going on over here, which is a good thing. I drive through the neighborhood almost every day. You'll recognize me because I drive the only Tahoe that has pink lettering on it. Not even joking, it's the only one. And I shop 384. I'd like to give my phone number out to everyone. If you didn't get it the last time, I'll give it to you here in just a little bit, so a heads up to have your phone ready so you can have it. I always want you guys to call me if you have any issues. But what I do ask is that if it's an emergency, and the way you determine that is if you go, is this an emergency? The answer is yes. If you have to ask yourself that question, more than likely it's yes. If not, we have the non-emergency line, and I believe the number is 281-275-2020. Is that correct? You can always call the non-emergency line, but I will tell you this, if you have a gut feeling that something is not right, call. Don't hesitate to call us. You're not gonna bother us, and when I give you my number in a minute, don't hesitate to call me. You're not gonna bother me. This is what we do. Otherwise, we're sitting in a parking lot somewhere, eating Chick-fil-A more than likely. Because that's what a lot of these guys like. They like Chick-fil-A. I'm more of a Cane's person. So call, don't hesitate, because I would tell you, I used to work on a little team. It was an undercover team. I hate to even call it that, but I wore plain clothes. I drove around in a regular car, trying not to look like a cop. And not anytime, but most of the time when we were catching people, it's because people just like you saw something and thought, that's weird. And then I got to go out there and watch it in a regular car. And I will tell you, if you guys called, at least 70% of the time, they were right. It was weird and the speaker doing something bad. So please, don't hesitate to call. What else? Well, first of all, let me just say, I'm sorry about the Longhorns today. That was a horrible loss. It was unbelievable. I'm a Longhorn fan, but a Cougar fan as well. It was bad. If you didn't see it, go look for it. It's horrible. Yeah. Questions? Does anybody have questions? I know. Yeah.
Of the incidents that you quoted, how many have been cleared?
Great question. So the way it works is our guys come out, they take the report. If there's fingerprints, they pull fingerprints. Any physical evidence, they collect it. They take it back to our office, submit it, and it goes up to a detective. I will tell you this, our detectives are amazing. The guy that's in charge of this, his name is in charge of vehicle burglaries and burglaries in general. His name is Karasik. He's been here for 35 years. And he says he's gonna do 5 more. If there is any evidence, if there is anything to go after, he's gonna clear it. For these specifically, I don't know how many were cleared. I'll find out. Give you my number. If you text me yours, I'll let you know exactly what was cleared. But you guys have cameras out front, the flock cameras, and we've got cameras throughout this entire city. Those have helped us a lot. Those by themselves clear stuff out because it gives us somewhere to go, right? Unfortunately, a lot of times the bad guys have figured out if I put a fake paper plate on this car, they're never going to find me. But we've got ways around that too. Technology's getting great, and it's going to get really hard to be a criminal, I promise you. Yes, sir.
Where are the areas that these events took place?
Let's look. I can give you, let's see here. Well, I thought the addresses were on here. They are not. Oh, here we go. Longview, Merrick, Groveshire, Audubon. All of those were in one night. Yeah, same people all in one night. Keswick, David Searles, Foxbriar, and Benwood. But I tell you all of that, I want you guys to feel safe. You guys feel safe in this neighborhood, in this city, right? You should, because it is a very safe place to live. Take it from somebody who lived here and then moved downtown like an idiot. This is, it is completely different. Completely different. When I walk my dog, I have my gun walking around down there because somebody was stealing people's fancy dogs. If you want my 10-year-old French Bulldog, you're gonna have a hard time taking old Brick, I promise you. Any other questions? No? All right, I know Lieutenant Glass wanted to say a few words, and again, I'm so sorry for those Longhorns. It hurt me. It hurt me. My phone number, here we go. Let me give my number really quick. Are you guys ready? Yes. It's 346 626 8966. I'll repeat it. 346 626 8966. My name is Zach Condi, and I'm serious. Don't hesitate to call. If you don't feel comfortable calling, text. I really don't care what time, day or night, but please, if it's something that you think is criminal act is going on, don't call me. Call 911. But if you just have a question about your neighbor's parking really bad in the street or anything like that, don't hesitate. Give me a call and I'll tell you what the rules are for that, okay? All right, Lieutenant Glass.
Yes, thank you, Zach. All right, so really quickly, he mentioned the burglaries of the vehicles in your neighborhood. The one that happened when you had 5 in one night, I can give you a little information about that. Appears to be some juveniles that were doing that night, and they caught those guys in another city because of some of the information we had, and I think it was in Needville. So that one should hopefully be coming to a conclusion. We do have a specialized team that we now have in Sugar Land called the CST team, which is the crime suppression team. And so they work whenever something like this happens. We have a lot of burglaries of vehicles or something like that. They get involved in that and they start tracking down our leads, and then hopefully we get some good arrests out of that. So feel good about that. I think we're doing a really good job there. I wrote a lot of notes on my hand, just the poor man's notepad, right? Condi drives a pink car because it was letters that they put on that because of cancer. So
Yes.
Cancer awareness. So it's really a good thing for us to promote, and that's why he's driving a pink car. The notes.
The story, right?
Yeah, it's the story.
That's the story we're sticking to it.
It is. The walkways that y'all put down the middle are great, and so I just want to encourage you guys about that because we need to walk. I mean, we're getting older. I'm getting older. My wife and I walk. Walking increases your volume, helps you stay around a little bit longer. You can tell these guys over here have been walking a lot. I mean, they are loud. And so I think we need to, give them a little run for their money here a little bit and scream really loud and see if we can beat them out. But use those walkways. I think that's a great thing for your neighborhood. The helping hand that was brought up, I don't know if I was asking Condi if you remember the lady that lived on Country Club, and I think her name was Edith Baird.
Edith Baird,
Yeah, I don't know if y'all remember her or not, but back when I was working the beat and I was in this area, this was my beat, she called and she said you had a problem in her backyard. And so I came out to find out what that was. Well, the problem was that she had a light bulb that she couldn't reach, and she needed it changed. And so, and that's okay. So I changed it for her, and I got to know her really well. So I came over to her house a bunch of times. She called, we changed a lot of light bulbs, fixed some windows, talked about food and books and all kinds of other stuff before I moved out of that beat. But I'm just telling you, you could call us for things like that. And I mean, not all the time, but we love to come out and help our community. And one of the things that my parents taught me, and I'm sure you were taught too, is we help each other out. We know our neighbors. We know who lives next to us, besides us. And whenever somebody in my old neighborhood, when I was growing up, got sick, my mom was there with a pot of soup helping them out. My dad was an engineer, but he also was a handyman, so he knows how to fix everything. And they would call him if something was broken, my dad would go fix it. And that's how we take care of one another. And this community seems to really be that way. Edith was a good example of that. I really had a great time. I think she called me not to help her, but was helping me. It was really helping me learn to enjoy my job a little bit more. So I had a great time getting to know her. Don't be afraid to call us. That's my main thing there. And is it Lana or Lana? Yeah, last time I was here, I was filling in for someone that should have been here. I got to know her. I felt like she was going to invite me over for dinner. Y'all are welcome to do that. I don't mind. I love to eat, so in anything. We have a great city council, and I'm thankful for Stuart. If y'all didn't know, one of the things the city council did was they did a survey years ago. It's been a couple years, and it was a customer service satisfaction with the city. And the city seems to be very, very happy with the police department. And because of that, we're able to get some nice things. And so I really appreciate the way we work together in the community and that they support us as well. So hands off to that. And the last thing Zach didn't talk about, but I didn't ask him to. Well, there may be something else that I should have. Scams. I'm sure y'all have heard a lot of things going on. So if y'all have a cell phone, I've had to call my aunt. She's fallen for a couple of scams. You'll get these on your phone that says you owe money to the toll authority. No, don't fall for it. Don't.
That's a recent one, right?
Yeah, it's and I'm getting a whole bunch of them still. And even as a police officer, I get them and I just laugh when I see them. Don't fall for that. Same thing, if somebody calls and says you have a warrant, and you need to pay money, no. We don't call, you're not gonna get a letter in the mail say, pay by check or pay by credit card. None of that's gonna happen. So if you get anything that you're not used to, a credit card company says you owe us money, you know you pay your credit cards on time. Anything that has to do with money, stop, slow down, take a breath, call somebody you know, call your mom, dad, sister, brother, neighbor, whoever that is, and just ask them, does this seem legitimate to you? And make sure that you don't get taken for a scam. There's so many of them out there right now. So anyway, just to encourage you that way. So I'll be here for a while. You can come talk to me. Love to talk. I'm a chatter, and once you get to know me, you're gonna know I have a lot of kids. So I'm just gonna tell you up front, I have 8, and I love them all. So from 28 all the way down to 12, and so I have 6 of them still at home, and love them to death. But it's never boring at my house. So and they're involved in a lot of stuff. So which is kind of cool. Keeps me busy and active. You'll see me limping. That's okay. I got a leg that didn't want to bend a little bit. That was from knee surgery, and it's okay. I accept that. So don't worry about me. I'm okay. So anybody have any questions for me? History, anything?
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Okay, I think, was there an over or under? It was close, I was close, almost kept it at an hour. Any questions for me or anything else? Anybody would like to get up here and recite a poem? You got a joke? No? Okay, well then meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much for showing up.